everybody? Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we bring about conversations on a variety of topics, social, psychological, emotional, and what have you. We try to do that as often as we can. We try to do that multiple times per week, and we do that in an audio format. We've got over 700 of these available for your listening benefit, and we try to add to that on a daily basis. In any event, it can be very helpful to connect on a deeper level. And so if you're looking to connect and potentially get some coaching, would love to be of assistance to you. I've worked with over 15,000 people in some 4 dozen countries or so over the last 14 years, and that is just amazing to me. But in any event, I hope that you are looking to improve your life in some way and that I can be helpful in that process. So, if you are willing to or looking to reach out, you can do that in a couple of ways. At PO Perception on Twitter and or the About Me section on this YouTube page. You can both get to contact information that way. And so this is a kind of a continuation of our life lesson series. Lessons that life may be trying to teach you. The first is self-control. Look, we all have impulses, we all have emotional states where we want to do something that we may later regret. But understanding how to control yourself, understanding your triggers that cause you to lose control, and understanding that you yourself are responsible for any change of choice or choice and change that you make in your life is one of the most empowering things in the world. Everybody has choice. Now, you may not like the consequences of the choice, but that's irrelevant because you still have the power of choice, and self-control is in and of itself a choice. Now, there are rare occasions where a person's biochemistry and or brain-related injuries or deficits can cause a person to have lower self-control. That is a real scientific thing. However, for the majority of people, the choices they make that they later regret are ultimately because they follow their emotions to an end that doesn't lead them well, and that can be difficult. Next thing is find your gift. We all have gifts in the world, or we all have things that we can do that no one else can do. Otherwise, we wouldn't exist. Individuals wouldn't exist, and we'd all be corporate, and we'd all be the same. So it's important to know your gifts, and if you don't know them yet, or you haven't found them yet, and also realize that, in fact, many times we have gifts that we don't realize that we have, or we develop gifts over the years through experiences. And so what your gifts were at 10 and what they are at 25 and what they are at 47 probably are going to be different. You may maintain some giftings throughout your entire life, but you'll probably pick up new ones along the way. Using your gifts to make humanity a better place is a valuable thing to do, and the more you do that, the more connected you'll feel with other people and your community, both locally and globally. The next thing is to consider building a support network, a support team. Now, that's harder now than ever before in society. We as people are more disconnected than ever before, partially because we all think we're such individuals that no one will understand us, and the social isolation that comes with the crisis of identity that has become overt individualism can be difficult to deal with. Now, that's not to say you're not an individual, but the more you embrace your individuality to the exclusion of search for community, the more difficult it will be to find that balance. So understand that there are people like you, even if you feel there aren't, and searching for them is your responsibility. Creating individual tribes is one way that humanity has sustained itself for thousands, if not millions of years. And so doing that now is more important than ever because, well, A, there's more people on the planet, and B, the people on the planet are having bigger struggles than previously at any other time, or at least we have the perception that the struggles are bigger. They're probably the same size, but we don't have the time machine to go back and ask people what it was like to struggle several hundred or thousands of years ago. Anyway, so building that community is important. The next thing is to experiment. Try different things. Just because you like something doesn't mean you'll like it 10 years from now. Just because you never liked something 10 years ago doesn't mean you don't like it now. We go through phases of life Sometimes people say there's six, sometimes people say there's one every decade. But regardless, we go through different phases, and at different phases, there are things we like more than others. I went through a phase where I was really into martial arts movies, and then I watched and saw how repetitive they became. Now I'm into cooking shows and survival shows. That phase will probably last me for several years, but at the end of the day, um, sooner or later, what I'm into is going to change. And so if I experiment with different foods, with being around different types of people, with being around, um, you know, people who push my boundaries, with all sorts of different things, the more I experiment, the more I learn what I do and don't like. This is especially true for people who have been in highly abusive situations. The person you were told you needed to be and the person you are probably quite different. So experimentation is required when coming out of a toxic situation to begin to learn who you are now, not who you were taught to be. Next is never quit on yourself. Look, you are the only person that's going to be with you 24 hours a day for the rest of your life. So, if you don't believe in you, why should anybody else? Finding a way to not quit on yourself even when things are hard or when other people are telling you to quit is essential to living your best life. It There may be times you're tempted to quit, there may be times where you take a break, there may be times where you even stall out for a little bit, but finding a way not to completely quit on yourself and give up on the gift that is the life you've been given is essential to living well. The next thing is have a spiritual practice. Now, spiritual practice could be something as simple as love of music, love of nature, love of art. It could also be related to the worship of deities or higher powers. A spiritual practice is all encompassing, and finding one that works for you, not necessarily one you're taught or one that you're led to believe, but finding something that works for you that you can relate to and utilize within your daily life at least 15 to 20 minutes a day can be super valuable, especially at the times when you're ready to quit, when you're ready to burn out, when things aren't going well. The last thing is study. Study the things that are meaningful to you. Study things that are emerging trends in society. Study what people believe about things, but not necessarily take on the belief. The more you know, the more you learn that you don't know, and the more you know, the more diverse you can be in terms of connecting with other people. Those connections will help you to have a higher level of personal fulfillment, and that can be super super valuable. So, in any event, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.